Alright, shed update time. It's been quite a while, mainly because I haven't really gotten anything noticeable done, I don't believe. So this has been a royal pain in my ass. It seemed to be running better, and now it's not. I am at a total loss as to why, and generally whenever I go to work on it, it just makes me somewhat angry. So, yeah, I'm just kind of putting this off until I either figure out what's going on or have the headspace to deal with its woes. But instead, I am focusing on things that also need to get done. Dodge metal work. So for pieces of the bed, the last pieces of the floor I do believe that need to go in is this rear strip. So I'm currently crafting that. I attempted initially to make pieces with the Pullmax machine in the metals lab, and I have, let's see here, I have one of the maybe failed, maybe salvageable attempts here. So basically what the idea is you make a nice slice of corrugated stock, I guess. And then what you do is you use the oxyacetylene torch to heat shrink these down. So pretty much all you do to make the corrugation is to bend the metal, but then at the end there's too much metal, so you shrink it down and hammer it flat. And that is what I have more or less done here. However, the contour of these is not right. The angle on it is a little bit too shallow. So what I did is I got some pieces of Model T Ford spring that I found in the school's scrap pile, I guess. And they were pretty much the perfect piece. I had to make them a little bit thinner, and I had to hammer them flat because they had a slight arch to them. So I just propped it between these two pieces of rail plate and pounded it with my 10-pound sledge. And that took the radius out, go figure. But what I have done is I've beveled the edge a little bit on both top and bottom die. And these are just railroad slices that I stole. And what I do is you set the, let's see, yes, you set the chunk in there, still flat, get it lined up so that it's square. Set the top die on top, like so, and engage in some form of bashing, whether it's from dropping the mega slice of railroad on top, or the trusty sledge, or other forms of hammers and nonsense, pretty much until you get that. So see the angle's a little bit more steep. They're not all quite the same. I'm not really all that worried about it because it's a truck. It's gonna get used. It just needs to look not completely horrible. And I think I've done a pretty good job of making that. Like I said, I mean, they're not all quite the same, but for all intents and purposes, being a pickup truck that's getting used, I think we're in pretty good shape. So that seems to be going well. I've completed this slice so far. I think for today, I'm just going to get all these pieces made. I would make it all in one strip, but that's kind of awkward, and the spacing is not right on one of these, like, you know, over a span of like 3 or 4, the spacing between the ribs is not quite right. It's not really that noticeable, but when the spacing between them is not quite right over the whole length of it, say it's a 1/16 off per rib, by the time you get to the end, there's probably a dozen of these, so do the math, it's off by an inch. Or so. Yeah. Sped moment, but you get the point. So that is why I'm doing it in kind of small slices. Honestly, I probably should have done this in 3. The 4th one kind of pushed it, but I think it'll be okay. The rest of them, I think I'm just going to do in slices of 3. So slice, slice, and then whatever else is left over. So I think we'll be in good shape. I'm cut up a couple more test panels to make them all about this width, I guess. Probably overkill to replace quite that much of it, but I mean, I'm here, I'm doing it, so I guess why not? Something like that, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that is what's going on today. I think I'm gonna get these crafted, and then I have to bring them into the sheet metal lab because I don't have an oxyacetylene setup out here, and doing heat shrinking of this magnitude with a MAP gas torch is not ideal, and it pretty much won't work. You can do little heat shrinks, but it's not very controllable, and it's not terribly effective, and there's a lot more time that goes into it, so it's just going to be easier to sneak it into the metals lab. So depending on how much of this stuff I get done today, I might move on to some of the pieces around, like the wheel tub sorta, but I don't know, we'll see. This is proving to take a little bit longer than I had anticipated to craft this, so we will see. But that is what is going on today.